Hi there, I'm Kendall Hoeft, and in this video I'm going to continue to talk about ways that we have lost our childhood, ways that you might have grown up too soon. And one of those ways is growing up with abuse. And this could be physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and even religious abuse. As a child, you're in the phase where you're learning to trust. And that trust is violated and that trust is broken. And it's very, very sad that the child has to, instead of being in a place of purity and innocence and trust, they have to develop a sense of armor. They have to learn to kind of protect themselves and developing a shell, and that's growing up too soon. One of the things that happened to me as a child was I was not able to have freedom of expression. I wasn't able to express my emotions or my sensitivities or my feelings. Like whenever I would even ask a question, or if I needed something, or if I wanted to express my feelings, I would really get chastised for that, and I would be told, like, it basically made me feel stupid if I had a question. And so that taught me to kind of be afraid to ask questions, even into my adulthood, to assume that needing something or having a curiosity about something bothers someone, that people are like, why don't you know this already? Like, what's wrong with you? Or really, so many people would have the same question. They just have a fear of asking those questions. So don't worry. In my life now, I'm very at peace with asking questions, and I celebrate that aspect of me. And I'm sad that I was made to feel ashamed of my feelings, that I had to apologize for being sensitive, for being who I am. I had to apologize for having feelings, guys. And we don't have to apologize for having feelings. Please, please don't apologize. If you're going to talk to someone, don't say like, I'm sorry, this is so weird, but like, or hey, like, I'm really sorry. I know it's a lot, but don't apologize for yourself. Just be and accept yourself for who you are. And know that you being authentic and true to who you are is actually going to help other people. It's going to give them permission to be honest and real and transparent and vulnerable about what's really going on inside of themselves. And that's actually going to develop better, more honest, authentic relationships. So another way you can lose your childhood is by turning off your emotions. This is something that I had to do because my emotions weren't welcome. I just basically was like, okay, well then I won't share my thoughts, because me being honest or me sharing my thoughts leads to pain. So every time I ask a question, if this is the result that I get, then I'll just stop asking questions. Then I'll just stop. I'll try to stop feeling. And this is what leads to numbers like alcoholism or other coping, other coping mechanisms, or some kind of suppression where it's like, it hurts to feel. It hurts to express those feelings. My feelings aren't accepted. And so I'll just try to dumb those down and numb those down. And if this happens as a child not being free, and a child being made to feel nothing, and a child being working hard to hide his feelings, that's a part of your childhood that was stolen from you, that you were deprived of. And that is a way that you grew up too soon. You should have been given space to be yourself, to express your emotions, and for those to be listened to and received and validated. Another way you can lose your childhood is by surviving in a harsh family situation. You grow up too fast, you become a little adult in a child's body. And ironically, people may brag on you for this unfortunate coping strategy, like, you're one of the most mature little girls I've ever seen. And I can't believe you're only 8 years old. Like, you find yourself being praised for your premature maturity, which is really sad. And this happened to me as a child. I was the oldest of 5. I was always responsible. I was literally like a little mother. And so when we were at the park, I always had to be watching my siblings. So if my parents went out, I was always the babysitter. And I was still a child. Like, I was still a baby. Like, I grew up too soon. I had to be responsible and accountable, and I had to have my bed made, and everything had to be remembered and perfect. And I got chastised for making careless mistakes, even on math problems. Like, every time I made a mistake, there was pain there. And so that drove me to being a perfectionist, and that drove me to stop making mistakes. And that drove me because I was so praised for perfection, but more powerfully, I was criticized for imperfection. People needed me to be the adult. They needed me to be the caretaker of the children. They needed me to problem solve and be creative and develop these abilities. Now, we can always look back with perspective and we can see the ways that empowered us and made us stronger. And yeah, my life experience and problem solving skills and my abilities and creativity and greatness with kids is off the chain. And so we're able to look back and be thankful for some of the positive things that came out of that negative situation. But I don't want us to start there, because so many times we try to see the glass half full, which is great perspective, but first we need to see the portion that's empty, and we need to be honest about the realism of that negative happening in our life, and that real pain, and that real trauma, and that real sadness. And we maybe need to mourn and grieve the sadness of growing up too soon and the things that were robbed of us as children that we had a right to. We had a right to learn how to trust. We had a right to express our feelings. We had a right to be who we are in a safe environment. So I think that's about all I want to say on that note. There is hope. You can restore and redeem and access that inner child, because now you're an adult. Now you're in a safe place where you're like, I can totally express my feelings. I'm safe to do that. I'm not going to have someone coming down on me now. I'm strong, I'm capable, I love who I am. You can practice affirmations. You can write a list of things you'd like to do as a child and begin to re-access those things and to release your inner child again. So we'll talk about those more in a later video, but I hope you enjoyed. I'm Kendall Hoeft. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I invite you to subscribe to my channel for more videos, and feel free to like or comment below. I'd love to interact with you. I'd love to hear where you're watching from in the world. Thank you. Love, hope, freedom.